Good day, people. For this video, I wanted to have a specific discussions about the new clan Cith, and I will do the comparisons between the warrior clan that I have, Cith and Almat, and you can see that there is some damage difference. And the focus of the video, I will do a demonstrations on how I run them in the guild board better. You can see some number and you can know what the difference and what should be expected from that. So let's take a look into the Cith. Female is the one that I choose to use because she got all the necessary kit that can do well in the battle. Let's start with the passive skill. Talking about the basic attack that she had the chances to trigger the powerful strike, and that one the damage also interrupt the target. And during the battle, whenever enemy champion casts a skill, they stack a blood mark, and that's one win. Basically, if you're hitting that target, you get the critical strike, and that critical strike means that it you cannot dodge it, and it's guaranteed a critical hit. And this and the blood mark disappears. So basically, it applies to all the enemy champion when they cast any skill. They immediately be target. And the interesting bit about that is the ultimate skill is the skill 2. Is basically apply all the blood mark to the target around the battlefield. And when switch trigger the ultimate, it will basically permanently increase her strength and critical damage up to 20 times per battle. So you think about that one. If you're talking about the PvP, mean that player versus player, you play against other player, they may have the chances to trigger 2 or 3 times. It's not really make any difference, but the important bit of that one is critical. Like when it trigger, you can crit, right? So that is the important bit. But in the PvE setting, when you visit the boss and or the guild boss as well as the campaign boss, you will have the chances to trigger the ultimate more often. Yeah, and then you get more buff and you can do more damage accordingly. So it means that the longer the fight goes, so you're getting stronger. Okay, the active skill itself is basically doing damage, and once we trigger once we in the critical state, and that's when you trigger the ultimate, so you get a second to perform the attack, and then the third attack would be dealing the damage equals to percentage of max constitutions. So this one is very good to do with the tanky enemies like boss or tanks. Okay, so let's take a look into my build for Cith, and then I can jump into the demonstration on the keyboard better. So for Cith, currently I have it at 13 star, and average equipment, you can see that probably I have the similar equipment to Almat as well. And for her, I build hers with the basic brutal, fear, and agile. Basically, I want her to do the normal attack more often, do it faster. And I put her on the plum dance from the COVID threat, but it helps to increase her critical damage by 100 over 100% in the first 15 seconds. So my strategy is when we go into the battle, as long as we trigger the ultimate, so you're gonna be crit for sure, and then within the 15 seconds there, She can do a few big crit, and that's it. That's all she need to do, and that's all she doing well in the PvE setting if you set up is right. And but for the PvP, because the game is gonna be going last to more than 2 minutes, right? So the crit the damage doesn't really play a role for the long duration, because 2 minutes versus 15 seconds is actually just very small, but it's still useful, because that's why I using this coverage rate, so that I can bring her to the PvP setting. Okay, so the skill wise, yeah, just I haven't maxed her skill yet, but that's all I have. So let's bring her into the beta and have a test. Oh, by the way, let's take a look into the Almat as well, and later we can probably have a fair test against that. So for Almat skill, you can see she has a slightly better start because she have higher vigor. And trait wise, right, for Almat, I build her in the way that she can hit even faster. So with the OGL here, she can do 30% normal attack faster, and with the router here, and with the honorable as well, because I want her to be more tanky. Her passive skill, basically when she actually hit the enemies, she get the chances to heal. So the longer she stay, the stronger she, the better it is. And now with the settle suite here, I want her to basically, after she cutting the buff second skill, she can hit faster. So she can hit like 50% more faster than normal, and it make her last skill really shine, because you can see that X of the normal attack is the damage equal to percentage of maximum health, and kept at her strength, and then she restore some constitutions with the according to the damage deal, right? And her attack speed is getting faster when we have more energy than the other opponents. So her kit is really beyond the normal attack speed. She really great unit that you say in the first team. Okay, without further ado, let's focus on some demonstrations, shall we? Alright, so for this demonstration, I'm going to show you guys how this is going to work in the guild beta. So in the guild beta here, luckily we got the increase buff for that. So basically we can have our damage comparing to the without the buff. It's very cheap, like only 200 diamonds to get the buff for everyone. So I strongly encourage every guilds to do that, because it means that you can get more loot and more folder accordingly. Alright, so let's take a look into this is the second boss, and let's set up the challenge for that. Alright, here's my go-to team now. When I was setting up, I tried different combinations, and it's really shine and really work well. So in this team setting here, you can see that I got one Bloodcraft Scarlet. I think she is awesome in PvE setting because her skill is select multiple times, and if you have single target, you just multiple hit. This is one of the best. And then I have the female Lume there, is basically to make the skeleton keep running over and over, because her second attack actually buff the attack bar of the strongest one. And of course I got the female limestone there for attack buff and increase the attack speed. And they got 2 free slot there for whoever going to be the news one, or whoever is the better hitter when we go to that spot. Female Nereid is one of the best one I have, because she actually buff herself, and her damage is dealing with the target constitution percentage, so it's very good. So now I got one of that there at my default one. So let's have a run and see how it goes. And you can see that the Landstone going to buff first, and then the rest will go ultimate. The Scarlet go first, and then the female Lume buff the Scarlet. So I think just now the female Lume miss one Scarlet turn. You can see that the second one, and then female Lume buff the Scarlet. So she go one more time. Yeah, there we go. And you can see that's not the better keep going on. All the unit here getting stronger. Because the female Lume passive skill is actually increase the total damage of the whole teams by 7% every time they cast any buff, so up to 45%. Okay, and of course I have her with the passive skill like huggings and her own clan trait as well. So that is well set up for a damage team. And the longer better go, the stronger the whole team is. Alright, let's take a look into the statistic, and you can see that from the start the Bloodgrab Scarlet did 5 billions. Okay, the female Nereid is 2.8 billions, and the female Cith is sitting there at 2 billions. It's not bad, it's equivalent, and I think the gear, I have a bit better gears for female Nereid comparing to, and also the skill up comparing to female Cith. But because warrior compares against assassin, normally a little bit slightly different. Alright, so let's take a look into do another run where I, instead of using female Cith, I can change this one to female Almat, and let's see what's the number that we can have with female Almat in this case. We take note that female Almat active skill is done, and the ultimate method is to buff the whole team with attack as well. So you can see that maybe slightly better in terms of the damage of the others. So we have to count into maybe in terms of total damage to the boss instead of individual. But let's consider both of that together. Yeah, I just love how Scarlet can move multiple times, like one after another ultimate. Is really cool. I like to see a big crit. Actually, 130 million for the Scarlet crit comparing to 110 million, so basically 20% million more, or 20% difference with the visiting of female Almat, and you can see there is even bigger, 200 million because of the buff from total damage increase. Yeah, this one is 450 million with a 55% buff. So let's take a look here in the statistic. Alright, you can see, right, the female Almat now doing 1.1 billions, but the Scarlet is 4.9 billion, and female Nereid is 2.9, almost 3 billion. So a bit slight difference in terms of individual damage dealer, but I think total is still less than what we have for if we're using female Cith in this case, right? Yeah, slightly less. Okay. So yep, that's it. So hope you guys enjoy it. It's in my opinion, female Cith is pretty cool champions because she's just getting stronger and stronger as the battle goes, and she can do well in the PvE setting as well as in the PvP if you have the right team for her. So I can talk about that in the subsequent chapter on how to do the team build, but for now that's what I have for you guys. Okay, stay safe and enjoy the games. See you soon.